So, today's topic of discussion is death. Bit of a grim subject, but I thought it was important, and it's been a bit of a recurring theme in my life as of late. So, the first thing that I want to talk about was, well, do you ever talk about death? I was over at my parents' the other day, and we just kind of fell into this conversation. I asked my mom, what do you think you're going to do if Dad dies first? Are you going to remarry? Will you buy a new house? And we just got around to talking about what would happen in the case that any of us were to die. And then I just thought, that by the end of it, was like, do normal people have these kind of conversations? And I think it might be a little easier for my family just because we're Christian. But yeah, I guess that's just my question to you, if you ever have these kind of conversations. And yeah, I don't know, I feel that they're helpful. I mean, for one, it's nice to address these things before you're actually knee deep in a crisis. And I think it's also just good to face your own mortality honestly. But more on that later, I suppose. So some people who died in my life recently. So my cousin, she had been struggling with breast cancer for a long time. Well, I guess one of the merciful things about cancer is that, well, you have some time. So she got to play some role in her own memorial service. Some of the songs that she liked, and she organized a high tea, a tea party at the end of it. So that was kind of a fun touch. And I also got to say my farewell. I sent her a video. I sang her a song, which, well, I guess that eventuated in me singing at the memorial service with my brothers. So that was nice. It opened up some opportunities for me to spend more time with my family. And I guess if there's one thing you can say about memorials and funerals, just that, well, it brings the family together. And I think that day I'd probably, well, at least some of the people there, I'd probably spent more time talking to them that day than I had in the rest of my life. So yeah, I guess that was one bright spot with that. So another person that died recently was my coworker, John. So he was the head engineer at our work. And he was on his way to work on a Monday morning, just his normal commute on riding his motorcycle. And he was broadsided by someone running a red light. So that Monday, I was at work. I didn't hear the news until noon that he had gotten into an accident. And we got some updates. He said that he was still alive. But his wife set up a Carrying Bridge site to keep us posted on John's condition. But we quickly learned that he had suffered severe trauma damage. But the worst of it was just that he was that he would be in a vegetative state for the rest of his life. And just the letters that she continued to write on that Carrying Bridge site, it was really tough. But it was just admirable how courageous she was, and you could just see her heart for people throughout the entire thing. I'd known John for, he'd been working at Trail Tech for a couple of years. And he was really, a good guy to work with, I suppose. He was very difficult to please, very demanding. But he was the kind of person that you wanted to please because he was a great guy. He took some interest in the books that I was reading. I got to talking to him about my trip to the Netherlands. I talked to him about some of my first fishing trip, and because he really enjoyed fishing. So anyway, he was just a great guy to spend time with. But yeah, I guess it's one of those things. I guess it was surprising to me how much a coworker dying would hurt. I mean, that sounds kind of cold to say, but coworkers aren't people that you have in your life because you choose them. They're not like family or friends. They're just people who happen to be there where you're also working. But I guess over time they definitely have an impact on your life. So yeah, we found out that that he was in a vegetative state, and I think by that Friday of that same week, so on Wednesday they pulled the plug, and on Friday they had the memorial service, and yeah, I guess I got to learn more and more about John. Hey everyone. Sorry to interrupt the flow of the video, but as you might imagine, this video has been difficult for me to record, and I ended up recording across multiple days. So I wanted to go back and highlight the 3 letters that Heather posted on that Caring Bridge site. Just the news of his accident, the news of his death, and the news of the memorial service. Just to read those letters was like going through the stages of grief along with her. It was just beautifully tragic. And I already had an idea of who I thought John was before any of this had happened. But by the end of these letters, I idealized him. I thought of him just as, the perfect man, which I guess is not that uncommon when people die, that we want to just think of the best things about that person. And with John, it just didn't take that much embellishment. So after the memorial service, Heather and the family opened up their home to let people wander through and just see things from his life. And to my eternal shame, I found out that he held some political beliefs that were different from mine, and that threw a monkey wrench in my picture of him as this perfect man. And I winced at my pettiness. I should know better than to judge the value of people by their politics. And that's some of my heart for this channel, actually. Just to treat people as more than their politics. In fact, it's usually the most boring thing about a person. When you're talking to someone and the conversation drifts into politics, it's like the person is disappearing, and all of a sudden all these spirits that they welcomed into their bodies start chiming in, and Trump this, Obama that. It just makes you want to shake the person and ask if they're still in there. Anyway, all that aside, John was a wonderful person, and it was really great to get to know him, just to learn more about him in that week. How he met his wife in 4th grade, and they were married for 33 years, and to learn that he was an engineer through and through. Probably my favorite thing was that he had built this, that he had spearheaded the construction of this chicken coop, that he had done incredible research, making sure it had everything that it needed. And it was just so extravagant that they like to joke about moving the in-laws in there someday. Anyway, it was truly a pleasure just to see a man who loved his life, who loved his work, loved his family, and just to see a life well lived. So those are some of the people in my life who died recently. And to close out this video, I thought I'd share how I'm grateful for funerals, oddly enough. It's tragic when someone dies and the loved ones are left behind. But I'm grateful for the unity that it can bring. People will set aside their politics, theological differences, fights in the family, to come together and honor the life of the person who died. And that just seems like an increasingly rare thing in our society, where people feel obliged to set aside their differences and come together. After Game of Thrones ended, there was this joke that was going around that was like, oh no, now Game of Thrones is over, is there anything left for us to come together over? And I kind of saw that in my own life, where people of very different political and theological persuasions came together to watch and discuss Game of Thrones, and now it's done. What do we do? I suppose there's still other spaces where people come together. I went to the Clark County Fair this summer to watch Tough Trucks, and they sang the national anthem, and it was all very patriotic. And at the end of it, I just thought, like, man, this is so nice that we can just come together as Americans, as people, and just enjoy something together. So yeah, I'm just grateful for things like that in our society. And another thing about funerals that I'm grateful for is just the chance to stop and reflect, to consider your own mortality, and just put things in perspective. What really matters in your life? And I guess I can't help but think about what someone might say at my funeral someday. Here lies Joshua Hayden. He mostly kept to himself and played his phone games. No! I want you weeping and wailing at my demise. In all seriousness, it'd be nice if I did something in my life that was worth missing. If I took advantage of those small things that are so easy to pass by, make that phone call to my brother, spend quality time with my niece and nephew, introduce myself to that new person at the Bible study, start that YouTube channel. Finally, I'm grateful for my faith in Jesus Christ. That gives me the courage to face death squarely. I don't think I want to make an episode out of it, but I think it might be nice to share my testimony of how I came to faith. It's not terribly exciting. It's not like I was collapsed in a heap from a drug overdose and turned my life around. No, nothing quite like that. But anyway, that I think that might be a good video to share. But that's all I have for now. Yeah, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. And yeah, comment down below if you thought anything in this video was worthwhile. If you ever talk about death with your loved ones, or if death has impacted your life. Yeah. Well, bye.